Hey guys, Danny here by himself tonight. With the news of Judy Battista on Twitter earlier, the media got to speak to owner John Mara about all things New York Football Giants before the show that the NFL Network is doing on honor of his father, Wellington. So basically, they asked what was the confidence in Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. Basically, he still has it. He anticipates no changes in the upcoming season between their jobs. Honestly, I just think that's owner say. Dan Duggan from The Athletic mentioned earlier in a tweet. Excuse me. He mentioned earlier in a tweet that he Mr. Mayer has said this multiple times, and then a couple months later, the coaching and the general manager and everybody is gone. So, like they mentioned, he's been pushing the trigger too quickly on at least the coaching. Obviously, with Daboll, you can tell he's a very good offensive minded coach. He's a good coach, head coach, because the team wants to play for him, even with the shitty situations they've put themselves in the last two seasons. You can just tell if we can wait one more season and we can get the actual quarterback that Brian Daboll wants to build around, positive things can happen. Um, with Joe Schoen, you can tell. I'm sorry. With Joe Schoen, you can slowly see his handprints on this team. Has he hit grand slams all the time? Absolutely not. No general managers have ever done that. Name me one. There's very few and far between. So I do want to give Mr. Mara the benefit of the doubt of the situation. Unfortunately, it's been too many times where he would be coming early before Halloween. Oh, I still have faith in Joe Judge, or I have faith in Coach McAdoo, or yada yada yada. You could name whatever coach. And then towards how bad the season has gone, obviously the vibes and everything else has taken a turn for the worse or better. So I don't know where to believe. I'm going to take it and let them finish out the season, because honestly, the way the season has gone, it's very reminiscent of last year. Granted, Daniel Jones hasn't been hurt yet. Knock on wood for his own personal safety. We'll see what happens with the here on out, especially with Locks getting garbage time last week. On who knows what happens with the? Are they worried to play the injury clause with Daniel Jones or not? So I think that has a lot to do with everything as well. But with all of that being said, I'm not taking what Mr. Mara said about that in the Jody Battista tweet serious, because honestly, there's so much season left, good or bad, that uh, honestly, I'm ready to I expect the unexpected. Honestly, especially how the Giants have been the last decade, they have been close to enough, or they've been a dumpster fire on how they've been running the organization the last decade, basically. Other than two blimps in making the playoffs, we are arguably a top bottom a bottom tier team right now, unfortunately. And I'm not trusting Mr. Mara on his word on saying that they're going to be safe next year, because until Joe Judge made that crazy mistake after that pathetic Bear game in 2021, he went on for like a good 15, 20 minutes just ranting. And then we're like, all right, Joe, maybe you should wrap it up. And then the following week was just even more embarrassing to end the season with those two QB sneaks against Washington, and it was just like, all right, this is over. This was a very embarrassing 2 weeks for the G-men. Let's see what we could get, and sure enough, we got Daboll. So, who I think is obviously not light years better than Joe Judge. Maybe he is. You can tell he's able to draw up an offense, a competitive game plan in certain occasions where it's enough to get everybody that likes Daboll enough to see if we can get a guy for him. Let's do it. So as much as I would love to see Daboll and Shane still here just to get the continuity. I've always been saying it like a broken record. I'm not holding any breath right now to what Mr. Mara says, and I think a lot of people are in agreement with me. Just you got to show me just a little bit more, especially on how bad this last decade has been. Um, as much as I want to believe them, I'll believe it when I see it because they're like I mentioned, there's so many twists and turns this season, backstabbing, who throwing what player under the bus or throwing whoever under the bus, regardless. Especially when a job is on the line, that's when it starts to get crazy. No matter how tight they are, you really, it's going to be interesting to see. So fasten your seatbelt. We got our first. Hey, I believe in these guys pep talk from Mr. Mara. So it can only go up or down from here on out. And hopefully, for the Giants' sake, it's up. But long way to go. 2-5. It could get a lot worse, or it could get a lot better. Um, the way the trends have been, I hope it's even killed so we could build on this regime. So we'll see what happens. Until next time, this is Danny. Please check us out, TNL_NYG, and have a good night.